Hi everyone, this is a video that's specific for people who have a Capricorn Ascendant in the Western tropical style of creating a chart. So if you have a Capricorn Ascendant in Jyotish, this may or may not apply to you. You need to check and see what your Ascendant is from a Western perspective. Because there's overlap, but there can also be differences. I'm not going to go into the technicalities of that here. But this is for a Western tropical chart orientation Capricorn ascendants. So if you know you're a Capricorn ascendant from a Western perspective, then this applies to you. And I am thrilled to be doing this. This is my first ascendant specific video. And I'm just delighted to be able to do this. The aim is to do it for the 3 playlists I've created, one for this one, the August 11th upcoming new Moon Partial Solar Eclipse, one for the July one that just happened, and one for the July 27th lunar eclipse, one for the July partial solar eclipse that just happened. Even though those events are in the past, they remain active, and so whatever it is that I'm going to say about those when I get to those videos will remain current, at least for the next 2 or 3 months. So let's dive in as far as the partial solar eclipse is concerned. For Capricorn ascendants, the question really has to do with relationships and joint resources and dealing with your own capacity to bring in money, and the theme really has to do with partnerships and money held in partnerships, inheritances, legacies, divorces, loss of a partner, coming together with partners, etc. There are 2 things that I'm going to mention off the bat as far as eclipses are concerned. Eclipse energies, as much as I can describe the energies, are always unpredictable, and whenever I try to get overly predictive, God always shows up to show me who has the upper hand. Part of the delight of being an astrologer and looking at various charts is having a sense of what the energies are at play and marveling at the specific way those energies show up in each individual chart, because there's so many of us. So be aware that when I'm talking about eclipses, that the way things show up tend to be truly creative and truly unpredictable. You can't make it up. You can practically not really think it. You have to be aware of the energies, and you have to watch how things unfold, and you have to show up to the things that are showing up for you. The second thing I'm going to mention is that the eclipses are, as far as I'm concerned, I would say the most important thing that go on in any year, but they're not the only thing. And so sometimes energies blend together to create a narrative, but it's important to know where Jupiter is transiting and Saturn is transiting and where the lunar eclipse just happened and blah, blah, blah. So, sometimes the energies at work are at work, and they can be interrupted by another transit or another set of energies that are also working there. Thirdly, let's get to this right away. The dates when these Leo eclipses have been active. December the 9th, and if you watch the general Leo solar eclipse video I did, these dates are there as well. December the 9th of 2016 to February the 9th of 2017. July the 21st of 2017 to January the 31st of 2018, but I would say July 21st to October 21st, and then end of November to January 31st were sort of peak times. And now August 11th of this year, 2018, to January 21st or so of 2019. And the August 11th solar eclipse, watch what starts with August 11th, but the other key dates there are August 11th to October the 11th, August the 11th to October the 11th, and then November the 21st to January the 21st. With the solar eclipse, I look to the marker 2 months after the solar eclipse. For a lunar eclipse on January the 21st, I would look to 2 months before, so November the 21st. Those are dates interesting to look at. Eclipses happen in pairs. So if you're having eclipses in Leo, you're also having eclipses in Aquarius, like the July 27th lunar eclipse we had in Aquarius a couple of weeks ago. Not even yet. And the energies work in tandem. So when I give you these dates, yes, I expect that the Leo-related energies are going to show up when the Leo-related eclipses happen. But the energies are really working in pairs. And for you, in a sentence, my question would be, so what has been going on with you when it comes to joint resources? What has been energies surrounding things like divorces and separations and leaning into figuring out joint resources, monies held with a partner, inheritances, legacies, managing through that kind of stuff? Some of you could be merging in partnerships. Some of you could be contemplating separating from a partner. Some of you could have been forcibly separated from a partner through their passing, some other creative reason that the universe has dumped on you. The tie-in with that, so all the Leo activity that has been happening in the sector of your chart that has to do with shared resources. The question I would have is, starting December the 9th of 2016, think about everything that you have needed to think about and lean into. And the Leo eclipses are where we are leaning into. And certainly from a conventional perspective, we're not meant to spend a lot of time in shared resources. The idea from a Western perspective is that you go out and you earn your own money. But the fact of the matter is, people get married. People are in partnerships. People inherit money. People generate passive income. People may have stocks and shares and investments. People may have rents that they're getting from rental properties. There are loans. There are taxation issues. There can be monies owed to you. There are monies owed from you. All of this sits in this kind of shared commissions, for artists working with agents and managers, money coming in through someone else, your spouse's money. The idea of leaning into this can be confusing, because one of the questions that can come up is, what are you saying, Avi? Are you saying that I should stop working or not be bringing in my own income, and I should just somehow be putting my feet up and be dependent on these issues? And my answer to that is no. That is not how things don't tend to work out literally. If some of you have to rely on joint resources, something happens, you have some sort of a financial crash or some sort of a challenge, and your family or other people are helping you out as you make your way through it. That could be one way these energies are playing out. Another way, and a more common way these energies are playing out in terms of the eclipses, where you have to lean into something, you have to lean into them energetically. There's something here that has to be figured out. You have to solve something here. You have to take care of things here. This is where you may actually be deriving a certain amount of support in thinking things through, in stabilizing them, in consolidating them, and sorting things out. But at the same time, I told you eclipses happen in the opposite houses. There's something about the idea of leaning into these eclipses that is also freeing you up potentially to earn your own money. When it comes to earning your own money or money in your name, that's where the eclipses of release are happening. And so in some cases, as I said, it could be that you have circumstances propel you to stop working and be leaning into joint resources. Other circumstances could be that you really have to let go of something, your own. I would almost again say, since December the 9th of 2016, but in this case, I would almost say since June the 7th of 2017, what has been going on with regard to, what has changed with regard to your own ability to make money? Have you had to let go of certain self-esteem issues? Has there been a complete lifestyle change? Are you earning money now in ways that you were not earning before? What is the correlation between having to earn and releasing? And again, the releasing has, I'm going to cover the releasing stuff when I do the video for the July 27th lunar eclipse, because that deals with the Aquarius eclipses. But as I said, these energies go hand in hand. Since 2016, December 2016, the focus, as far as eclipses are concerned, has been financial. And in some cases, yes, it is looking directly at numbers and the giving up of physical material things. But in many cases, it is energetic, it is psychological. When you have to lean in to take care of something so that it frees you to do your own work, it could be that there's baggage hanging over you that has to be stabilized and sorted out that lets you move forward eventually in terms of earning your own income. And when it comes to, I'm going to cover this in greater detail in when I do that video for the lunar eclipse, but I will say when it comes to earning your own money, the question becomes what has had to be released? Self-esteem issues, your own belief that you can earn money somehow. Have you been taken care of by someone in the shared resources area? And so you're having to find your own voice and your own capacity and question, has there been a marked change in the way you earn money too? But the eclipses to lean into very much have to do with this shared resources area: inheritances, legacies, debts, loans, taxes, spouse's money, parental money, people taking care of you. Something there has to be dealt with, consolidated, stabilized, thought through, lived on, while you plot your next move with regard to whatever it is that needs to happen. For many people, the energy of separation with a partner is certainly one way in which this shows up. When I see people leaning into their 8th house of shared resources, and the eclipses move backwards, it's going to go into the 7th house. The July 2018 partial solar eclipse was the first eclipse that happened in the house of the partner. And again, I'll cover those energies in greater detail, but there's a handoff happening in the second half of this year. So as financial considerations and things have been thought through primarily from a logistical perspective, do things finally get to a place now where action can be taken to either determine and put the energy now on the partner themselves? Some of you may be clearing the slate so that you can prepare mentally and emotionally for new partnerships. Some of you could literally be getting married. Some of you, or tying the knot professionally with someone. I'm trying to do my best in a relatively short period of time to cover multiple possibilities. A lot of this depends on individual charts. It depends on the transits. It depends on where the planetary positions are in your natal chart, blah, blah, blah. But the energy of partnership, leading into shared resources, now becomes active for one final time on August the 11th with this new moon partial solar eclipse. The August 11th new moon partial solar eclipse happens. Watch for things coming right after that eclipse or around that eclipse date, an energetic shift, but certainly October the 11th, watch that date. And then from August the 11th, there's a corresponding lunar eclipse on January the 21st, 2019. So watch the November 21st date and the January 21st date as something potentially comes to some sort of culmination. So if there are things that you are still dealing with, there's a final set of activities that needs to take place. Watch for your own energy and impulse to get things done and taken care of, and watch for things coming from the outside that help you and make that happen for you. Eclipses and the changes that they create can take years to continue to stabilize and consolidate, but the eclipse time frames are where a lot of things happen and transpire. I'm so sorry, there's kind of a slowdown in the way the camera seems to be recording right now, but I'm going to keep going because it's the information that's helpful, not a fancy visual. Remember, well, you may be watching this for the first time. It's not a question of remembering. Mercury is retrograde wherever this, in the sign of Leo, where the eclipse new moon is happening on August 11th. So it could be that whatever it is that this eclipse is trying to do and brings to you has a sense of delay around it. It could be that things are coming up from last year, from July, August, September, October, that can finally be put to bed. It could be that there are things that seem exciting that could be dealt with, but again, until Mercury goes direct on August the 18th, and then Mars goes direct, sorry, this is astrological gobbledygook, but I'll put it out here, Mars goes direct at the end of August, August 27th, 28th. It could be really by the time we're looking into September, October, that you see the ability to move forward and get certain things done. But if things come to you around August the 11th, within 48 hours of it, or even around, within a couple of months, because eclipses have a longer time period than just a normal new moon, just see and pay attention if it requires a certain amount of patience and a certain amount of going over and a certain amount of slowness in the way that things unfold and new developments occur. A kind of precision may be needed, a very methodical, detail-oriented approach may be needed, and it could be that some of the things that come up get resolved eventually or later. So let's say an opportunity comes up and all of a sudden you realize that it's just not moving forward as fast as you thought. There's something about it, this energetically, that needs to be rolled out in time. But it is the final eclipse. It's the final period that we've been dealing with, or that you have been dealing with. I don't have a Capricorn Ascendant, since December the 9th of 2016. And it is a final opportunity to stabilize, to make some decisions, to move forward, to implement some of the changes that you have been thinking about, contemplating, dealing with, in the leaning in and handling of, since December the 9th of 2016. And August the 11th to January the 21st is your chance to go ahead and button it. As I said, the eclipses moving forward really have much more to do with individual relationships. It's not so much the contemplation of resources. It's not so much the contemplation of freedom and self-esteem when it comes to earning your own money or sorting things out from a joint resources perspective or leaning into it. It becomes much more personal as you head into 2019. So it could be, as I said, that there have been contemplation of separating or leaning it, and now it really becomes more about me and the other person, as opposed to what do we have together and what has being together meant for me in terms of my ability to earn and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to leave it there. Delighted that this is my first, even though there seems to have been some speed issues with the way the camera is recording. Delighted that I'm able to start these Ascendant-specific videos. I hope you found it useful. It's not the only thing that's going on in the chart. Just know that, please. So it's not a comprehensive Capricorn Ascendant video. But hopefully it answers some questions you might have if you've looked at either my general solar eclipse video or just with regard to energies that are active as part of this partial solar eclipse new one that's happening in a few days' time. My details, my email address, etc., are going to be in the description area below. So if you feel like you want to consult with me, you want to do a reading, etc., go ahead and you can contact me there. Otherwise, feel free to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, blah, blah, blah. Best to you. I will be doing more of these. Thank you.